Hey everybody, this is Rydo. We're back just a couple hours since the last recording. In my time, maybe a couple weeks in the in between of when I actually post this. Probably not. At the rate I'm going right now, I'll probably just post it the next day. Uh, Last recording ended abruptly because the server screwed up. So I waited about an hour, came back, server seems to be working now. Did not play in the meantime, so this is the exact thing. As is tradition at this point, I want to apologize for the previous episode for um, completely misexplaining the legendary system. A legendary 2 is not the worst player. I don't know why I said that. Legendary 2 is the second best player. I'm sure most people would have figured that out. The win-loss ratio. It's not a ratio. It's going to be the actual number of wins. The person with the actual number of wins is going to be number one, regardless of his losses. More than likely, I can't confirm those numbers. I don't know for sure. I recorded for about 45 minutes. Last recording. That's about 3 games. I think I'm going to stick with 3 games in um, Hearthstone. That's a seems like a good amount. I could get it down to that mythical 15-minute an episode thing if I only recorded one game. I don't feel like doing that. I'll probably stop bringing that up, but you could certainly watch 1/3 of an episode and see 1 game, and then pause it and come back. Um, so from now on, I'm going to try and do 3 games, and then stop recording, and maybe do another recording after that. You always get these quests when you first start the program. Had to restart the program because of the crash. So it's going to be from now on 3 games or an arena run. I want to throw that in as it because I think that's what we're going to do. We can unlock the druid or hunter thing here if I have the option to play as a druid or hunter. And more than likely in the arena run we will do 6 more spells and do spellmaster, and then we'll be done. Maybe I'll stop when the quests are gone, maybe I'll keep going. Look at that, I have 261 total levels between these 9 characters. It's pretty high. It's not... I wonder what the max is. Let's see, 60 times 9 would be 450, so I'm about at 50%, so it's not really that high. Alright, so you're going to get to see in the arena. First thing they want to do is entry fee. You can either pay 150 gold or $2 in real money. That's what this icon over here is. Never pay real money. Never pay real money. Earn the gold. If you are not good enough to play on the free games to earn 150 gold, you are not going to be good enough to do very well in the arena. I'm not going to do very well in the arena, probably. So you're just really flushing your money down the toilet. Oops, went to back. Meant to click here. So it goes authorization, purchase complete. Don't be worried about that. As long as you click the gold, it will take the gold, not real money. I don't even believe I have an account or credit card set up to this account, so I don't think I ever gave them my info or anything like that. Notice I was at 800, I'm at 665 now. That 150 went out. So on the arena, we have 3 options. I don't believe, since I bought it, entry fee, you can back out, so there's no worry there. We wanted to play as the druid or the hunter. The options are not druid or hunter. I could play as a rogue, I could play as a warlock, I could play as a mage. Logically, I should play as the mage. Mage is probably the earliest character you should play with and play with a lot. That's why my mage is so much higher than all the others. It is a much easier, less complicated, easier to start with early things. So we're going to play as the mage. That will more than likely do those last 6 gold, 6 spell cards to get me that quest. Alright, here's the secret. when your opponent casts a spell, counter it. Here's an item that gives the two creatures next to it taunts, and here's one that gives you that silences your other minions. Almost useless, this card. You'd have to have a very specific uh, deck. There are some minions that have effects that are bad, so silencing them, like there's an effect that says can't attack on a very powerful card. If you had that guy summoned and then played this guy, well, he's silenced, so all of a sudden he can attack, and so now you have a very powerful thing that can attack. This is actually a very good card. This gets played a lot on me and irritates me every time it does, because you can have two weak or strong, it really doesn't matter, cards next to each other, and then you drag this one right in the middle of it, and it makes them both have taunt. This one is a mediocre card. Counter spell, I mean, most spells aren't so deadly or damaging that you need to waste a card in your deck to counter it. So I'm going to go with this one. So I picked my first card. It says 1 of 30. So on arena things, I could probably do a whole episode just explaining cards and building the deck, but I'm not. So arena ones are going to be longer. This is a spell deck. What we're going to try to do is do damage. So it's not going to be focusing on secrets. This guy's Death Rattle puts a secret on the battlefield. This guy is just a gray normal card. It's not specific to the mage, so its ability really has nothing to do with magic. All the mage cards are going to be magic related. He has taunt and enrage. Enrage is if he takes damage, he'll have +3 attack. Not going to really work and synergize with our deck. Whenever one of your other minions dies, draw a card. This could be a good card. Deal 2 damage, mediocre, and a taunt. We don't know how many opportunities we're going to have defensive taunt things, so I'm going to go with this 1/4 taunt. Alright, so here it's no choice at all. We want the Ogre Mage or Magi. I don't know. I think that's Magi is the word. He takes 4, which is a little high, but he gives you 4 and 4, and he gives you that all-important spell damage. This is the synergy we're shooting for. We want almost every creature in our deck to have the ability to go spell damage +1. We want to get that card that we got, Fireball, that does 6 damage. We want to be able to get that up to maybe 12 damage with creatures like this. Draw 2 cards. It's kind of a desperation play. Like I was saying previous episode, you want cards to be more powerful than just drawing more cards. Deal 4 damage to all enemies. That synergizes really well, because the Ogre Magi is going to change that 4 to a 5. That's how it's going to work. This guy can synergize. There's a possibility that we will get some cards that will say, for 1 mana, freeze an enemy. If it's already frozen, do 4 damage. This guy can freeze an enemy, maybe even the hero, every time he attacks, and then I can have those other cards do 4 damage to the hero. So as a sub strategy, we go with frozen. And the other options, let's see, give a minion +2 attack this turn. I don't like anything that ends this turn. I mean, 1 turn is not going to do a lot of damage. So here's where you're getting into the tough choices. You have deal 3 damage and freeze it. It's just a good card. Or summon 2 minions at once. I'm going to start off with the Mirror Image. I like Mirror Image. It's a great card to have in your first draw. Definitely no choice here. Deal 3 damage, randomly split. Remember, that will turn to 4 with Ogre Mage. A bit of a choice here. You have the Mana Worm, which gains one attack for every spell you play. It's only one. It's hard to implement, though. It only has 3 heart health, so it's kind of, to be played right, needs to be played like past the 5th turn, so that you would use 1 mana to summon it, and then you would use do a couple spells to get it up to even a 33, and at that point it's a pretty powerful thing, but not really. I mean, uh, so I think I'm gonna go with the deal 3 damage and freeze it. I haven't had a lot of luck with the Mana Worm. I know it could be used in some kind of 5-card combination to make it really powerful, but I just don't know what that combination is. Alright, this one is give each player draws 2 cards. What a terrible battle cry. I don't want my enemies drawing 2 cards. Demolisher slightly frustrates me because at the start of the turn, it does 2 damage to a random enemy, which is irritating when your opponent has it. Particularly when you're just stuck and you cannot do the 4 damage needed to kill him. He would be good about getting around taunts. When something says it is doing random damage, well, it doesn't have to follow a taunt shield. It can just attack some other creature. Um, there's also cards out there that say can't be targeted, but if you do an attack that does 3 damage to all the enemies, well, that one's not being targeted, so it still gets the damage. But we're gonna do this one, Ancient Mage. Yeah, that's Mage. And it gives the creatures on either side a +1 spell damage. So that synergizes pretty well. Freeze an enemy and the enemies next to it and deal 1 damage to them. Whenever a minion summons, you summon a minion with Death Rattle, gain +1/+1. This one is not for the mage a good card, but there are certainly other characters that this can be an excellent card. If you just have a deck where every single creature has Death Rattle, you could get this thing up. Plus, it's +1 to attack and +1 to the health, which means he will, when you play it right, he will stay around. Not like the other one where it was just 4 health and then +1 attack like the Mana Worm. But I'm going to, I could take the Grizzly. We haven't had a lot of taunt things. I think I'm going to go with the Grizzly, yeah. Still need some defensive guys. Question is, should I take this or this? This one will do 3 damage. This one would only do 3 damage in the scenario where I had like 2 Ogre Magi. And we're close to halfway there. We don't have 2 Ogre Magi. I'm going to take the charge 3-1. And see, the balance there is it's 3 attack but 1 health with charge. This one was part of the Curse and Exramus expansion, and it will ruin other players' strategies a lot. Minions with Battle Cry cost 2 more mana. I mean, so you're basically saying any card they wanted to play that turn, now they have to wait 2 turns to play it. Can ruin it. There's another one card like this where it's just everything costs 1 more mana. I have decks that have that and then have another copy of that, so I'll summon these 2 creatures out, and then the players have to take 2 more turns to summon anything. It can really slow them down and trip them up. I'm still gonna stay on the taunt things. I don't know what I'm gonna be fighting in the arena. It's not a specific hero. It's not a specific deck. It's just all random all the time. Let's see. Interesting card here. Gain 1 health for each card in your hand. That's not my playstyle. I do not have a playstyle where I keep lots of cards in my hand. In other trading collectible card games, having too many cards in your hand is dangerous. There will be cards that will deal damage based on the number of cards in your hand. But just in general, even in Hearthstone, I don't know if there is a card like that. There, you want to use your cards. Your cards need to be valuable and useful, and you want to use them. You want to be close to being out. You don't want to be completely out so that you don't have any options, but you want to be close to being out. So I'm going to just use Counterspell, even though it's not that good of a card. Uh, all these cards we've seen before, I think you know the one I'm going to pick. Uh, the Owl is a good card to have in your deck. Almost any deck. Having the Owl is good. But you need to know how it works. You need to know when to use it. The last recording we saw somebody play the Owl, completely did not understand the card it was silencing. Wasted it completely. This can be a game changer card, but you gotta know how to use it. You gotta understand how the cards work that you have in your deck and the cards in the rest of the game too. You can't just be an expert on the cards in your deck. Death Rattle, your opponent gets to draw a card. Not great. This guy has Wind Fury. I mean, he'd be a good option if your other two options were just guys that did nothing. I mean, he's not got terrible stats. It's just Wind Fury just lets him attack twice. So he could do 4 damage. But I'm going to pick Mirror Image. I've got one, but why not have two? Haven't had great luck with Sorcerer's Apprentice. Spells cost 1 less. I mean, that can get it down to 0. You can have spells that are 0 mana crystals, but it's a weak card. It easily gets killed off before you even have that enough time to use it. But I don't want this Panda Bear. He just sends one of your minions from your hand back in, from your battlefield back into your hand. Specific strategies, high level strategies where this is useful. Not any strategies I play. It's probably been going on a long time now, and we're still picking cards. Yeah, this is what an arena recording would be. And this is going to be the whole episode, I can already tell you. We're going to stop after we win or lose this arena. We may even break up the episodes. This is one of those creatures I was talking about that was really powerful but can't attack. He only costs 2 mana to be a 4/5. That's pretty high for 2 mana. But he can't attack. So you could give him Taunt and make people attack him for a couple turns. Or you can use the Owl and silence your own guy, because you don't have to silence enemies. You can silence your own guy. Silence him, puts a big X on there. That can't attack does not apply. So he can attack. Terrible battle cry here. Deal 4 damage to himself. Only situation where I'd consider him, because he's going to do 4 damage to himself and become a 4/3 on the very first turn, would be a situation where I have other creatures that just heal him at the end of the turn, and then after 4 turns, if he was still alive, which he probably wouldn't be, he'd be back to 4/7, or I have like some other trick to healing, because you would need that 4 damage back real fast to make him worth it. At the end of the turn, give another friendly minion plus 1 attack. This guy can get out of hand and get somebody really strong pretty fast, but he's not strong himself, and he only has 3 health, and as soon as people start seeing that what he's doing, they're going to attack him and try and beat him. So, not great choices all around. As you can probably tell, the colors aren't the best indicators about how good a card is. I mean, there are some no gem cards that I would prefer right now over these 3 blue gem cards. I guess I'm gonna take him. Almost always want to take the Wisp. The Wisp is a great card. I actually used Dust to craft this card twice because of how useful the Wisp is to me. Not super powerful, it's just a 1/1, but it costs 0 mana. So if you've used all your mana doing other things and they've countered it and done tricks to eliminate all the other creatures you just summoned, well, yeah, you still have a 0 wisp, and you can stick that out, and then you have a creature. This guy too can get out of hand. If you have a healing creature, he can take damage and then get healed, and he'll get the +3 attack for taking damage. You can do that over several turns, and he'll be very powerful. Whenever I see this guy, I want to get rid of him fast. And sometimes I use him not with greatest success because people know what he does. He comes around enough that people know and want to get rid of him. But I'm going to take Ice Lance. Like I said before, there was some creatures we got that would freeze him and then do damage if they were already frozen instead. That's Ice Lance. So I want as many Ice Lances as possible. I've got the support cards for that to work. Mirror Image or deal 3 damage split amongst enemies. Mirror Image is good, but I want 3 damage. This guy doesn't do anything. He's a Murloc. On other heroes, you can build a pretty good deck of all Murlocs, and there are cards that say all Murlocs get +2 attack or +3 health. But so there's some thematic series of cards, and I think that's what the next expansion is going to be. Is there's going to be they're going to add gnomes, I believe, and so I bet there will be cards that say all gnomes get plus attack or plus health. Acidic Swamp Ooze is a pretty good card. It can destroy certain heroes' decks, because if the hero strategy is to summon a weapon and make it really powerful and use that weapon, and that's their only strategy to defeat you, well, summoning him for 2 mana will destroy the weapon. It's usually never that dramatic though. But you can synergize that. This one's a pirate. There's a whole pirate series. Um, and gain the attack equal to the attack of your weapon. If you have a 5 and you put deadly poison on a 5 weapon and make it a 7, then do another deadly poison and make it 9, well then you would have a 9 attack weapon that you could use a couple times at least, and then summon this guy, he'll have +9 attack. So that would be for 2 mana and 11 3. Pretty powerful if you can get those 4 cards to combine and work together. I'm going to take a little break here for a second. Not pause recording anything, but one thing I wanted to do since it's a new season is this was the Halloween card back I got for making it to at least level 20 in October, I guess. And this is the one I got for November. It says goblins. Yeah, that's part of the new thing. So just want to change the new to the new card back so we can celebrate that and you can see that. Alright, back to card picking. 7 more cards. It is slow picking the arena. So I don't do it all the time. Also it costs 150. That's the bigger reason why I don't do it. So I could pick this taunt or no taunts. I don't think you can do a great deck of just having a bunch of characters that silence. That's not going to win you the game. So I'm going to take the taunt. Maybe I'll go really far in the arena and all this work we're doing will pay off, and you'll see me do 12 games. I'd love to go to 12, but it probably won't happen. Death Rattle summon 2 1/1 spiders. This can be a very irritating card because you have to do 2 damage to kill it, and then it just summons 2 1/1 guys. So at that point, those 2 1/1s are doing more damage than this guy was doing, and you now have to use 2 more attacks to do that. Very irritating. Similarly, this guy summons a 2/2 squire, so he's a 4/4. He requires a lot more mana crystals to do it though. This one does 3 damage and is a 4/4. So I'd probably say this one is better, but this one might be useful to get 3 damage to the enemy hero if he does a bunch of taunts. It could be make or break if this was the last card you played in a game. So I guess I'll take... No, I'm going to take him. That one's the one that irritates me the most, and that's how I know I should pick that one. Always want Ice Lance. We've seen this one has a charge if you have a weapon equipped, another pirate. So as you can see, you make a pirate deck, you're going to want all pirates and weapons. This guy just Wind Fury and +1 attack when he's enraged. So he does a damage, he can attack twice, and he's +1. But we're going with Ice Lance. Haven't gotten a lot of creatures that do +1 spell damage. That's what we wanted. It's not what we got. This is a secret that will give you 8 armor, keep you in the game a little bit longer. Should I take it? I don't know. Maybe I'll take it. Talk about this one. This one has stealth. That means it can't be attacked or targeted for a spell attack until it attacks first. And when you hover over it, it's popping up boxes and explaining it. So why I'm explaining it is just I'm assuming that you can't read the screen or would rather me read it to you. Which, okay. You get it. That's part of the beauty of playing a card game on a computer or an iPad is that it's explaining everything. It's holding your hand. There's no way for arguments, no way for cheating. Not really. Knife Juggler is pretty annoying. Every time somebody's summoned, it does 1 damage. Young Priestess, at the end of your turn, give a friendly +1 health. So we've seen cards that give +1 attack. We have one in our deck. This one does +1 health. This one, at the end of your turn, it summons a 1/1 imp, but it does that by taking 1 damage. So at most, this imp master could make 5 1/1 things. I'm gonna go with Young Priestess. That's a little... Don't play that card a lot. Return a friendly minion from the battlefield to your hand. There's another card that did that too. So the pandas are pretty much, they seem to favor doing that. This one's a 4. This one, I mean, if you had a card that had Battle Cry and you summoned it, it did the Battle Cry, then you played this and brought it back to your hand and then summoned it, it would do Battle Cry again. That could be really useful in some scenarios. Not particular. I'm just gonna go with this one. Let's see. Or do I want to go with draw 2 cards? No, I don't. You never want to draw 2 cards. Let's see. So, well, on the last choice, usually on the last choice, and sometimes in the middle, it'll do a little animation dance and give you slightly higher color gems, more rare cards. Didn't really do it this pick for some reason. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know why. Last card, so it did play some music. Whenever you play a card, get 1/1. This can get out of hand really fast. If you kept this to the 10th turn, and then you played this, and then somehow had 7 1/1 1 mana or 0 mana cards, well, then this thing would be at 9. I don't even have another one of +1 health. So let's take this one and see what we can do with it. And that was a really long time. That was just card picking. So here we get to the play screen. You start off with this key. It's just a plain old wooden bronze key or whatever. I don't even know what it is when it said 0 wins. And you have 3 strikes, 3 losses before you're done with your arena play. You could also retire if you were crazy. There's no reason to retire ever. You can go back, you can go play rank games for a little bit if you're tired. So there's no reason to ever retire. That would just be wasteful. Every win gives you a better key. Every better key unlocks more rewards at the end. More than likely, I would put down money if I was a gambling person that I will get 0 wins and 3 losses here. Maybe I'll get 1, maybe I'll get 2, because you just not skilled enough player. They have to pick random cards too. There'll be different random cards. They have to pick random heroes too. But there's a lot better players out there. You'll notice there's a 2 here on the side. That just is an indicator that there are 2 of that same card um, in there. And this is your entire deck. You can hover over it and see what you have. So well, let's jump into the game. This I should explain. These is this is the distribution of your cards. So I have like 1/0 mana card, so it's just barely showing, if not showing at all. I have a lot of 1 gem cards, a little less 2 gem, about the same amount of 3 gems, and then a little less 4 gems. No 5 gems or 6 gems to really speak of, and a lot of 7 gems. Not a lot, but a couple 7 gems. Ideally, you would want this to peak up at about 2 or 3, and then gradually go down towards them. Well, I mean, if you could make a deck of 30 cards with 0 gems, that would be an amazingly uh, overpowered thing. You would just have no reason to even worry about mana if all your cards required no mana whatsoever. But you can't do that. There aren't 30 cards in the entire game that would let you do that. And you still probably would lose. Let's hop in the game. Same finding opponent screen. I am not 100% certain that when you're playing in the arena, you are always playing against other people who are playing in the arena. I suspect you are. I would say that's how it works. But you might just be playing against ranked people. That would certainly be a good excuse as to why I lose so often in the arena, is if I'm playing against people's ranked decks that they spent hours deciding to pick the cards, and they could just put whatever they want on there. I don't think that's the case. You'll notice on this little spinner wheel that it's just searching for an opponent there, so it will go in circles forever. And if it takes a long time, we're getting into the risky point where it's going to just crash and say you can't find an opponent, and it's going to lose connection to the server. Also, you will notice that it always lands on worthy opponent. It's never going to say anything else, which is really irritating, because there's some funny things written there that if they were allowed to actually land on there would be kind of funny. But they want to instill in you the mentality that everybody's a worthy player. Don't be mean, don't hurt each other's feelings. And they do a pretty good job. The meanest thing you can do in this game is just be a good player. That's the meanest thing you can do. Alright, so I could put a taunt here, but I'm gonna just go ahead and use the coin and put out the spider and see what happens. Job done. That way, if he spends effort to kill me, if he can kill me, it's just going to leave a 1/1 where I can attack with both of them and kill that. He can do 1 damage in this turn, but that's about it. Interesting, he had charge, he decided to hit my face instead of actually going after the spider. So I have 2 spells. I don't want to play the Sorcerer's Apprentice yet. Don't have any other spells. Could put a hero in there and get rid of that guy. This taunt guy. But I think I'm gonna go with this guy. Have to attack the guys with taunt, no problem. They have no attack, so they don't do any damage at all. Now I'm a 2/3 because of that ability. You know he's only gonna give a +1 attack to this creature at the moment because he's the only friendly person besides him. And see, they got rid of him really fast because of that. They were not happy. What is this one's ability? Whenever a secret is played, gain +1/+1. So if she plays the secret, she'll get on the thing. There's another creature that gets a +1 every turn there is a secret in the reserve here. So that's even more dangerous because if somebody plays a secret and you can't trigger or get rid of that secret somehow, he's just going to get +1/+1 for every turn. I played pretty good last recording, won 2 games, which makes me really happy when you compare to the Isaac recordings I've done, where there was a lot of losses in Isaac before the first win was recorded, and I don't want it to be that way if I can avoid it, but heck, I mean, that's just the way life is sometimes.
That minion already attacked.
Can't do anything more this turn, let's just end it. One thing this game could improve upon is when it is the green and he says job's done, it should then just immediately roll out the timer rope to probably a quarter of the way, if not just right at the end, because there's no reason. If he can't do anything and he just wants to sit there and as a player and stall or what would be the accurate word? Just stall or try and figure out what's going on because he hasn't been paying attention. Too bad. I mean, I don't pay attention and I lose because of it. Same should be true for other people. As soon as it goes green, it should be the timer right there, and you have just a few seconds to look over the board, figure it out, and then that's it.
Runs out on me.
See, you saw the rope just then as I clicked in, flicked out all the way to the end. That takes a really long time actually for that rope to burn down to the point where it hit the end turn. I like this one's intro. It just says join or die or both. So I have like one more slot. I think I am full now. I think 7 is the maximum you can have. I can put this secret down because it's 1 cheaper, or I could do 1 damage. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I want to get rid of this guy, so I could, let's see, let's put this down to start off with. I think that's the right move. I want to get rid of this guy, and I have no more, so I'm gonna just get rid of this guy. Free up some slots. You don't want to be full up, usually. There are cards that will copy the number of cards that you have, and so not super useful to be full up. Also, there are cards that say if you have more than 4, they can take control of one of your random enemies. So you could have 3 really weak ones and 1 super powerful creature, and they play that card that says if they control 4, take control of one of them. There's a chance it takes your super powerful creature, and then you just have 3 weak ones, and would probably. Another reason you don't want a bunch of creatures. There are spells that do damage to all creatures, so he just maximized the amount of damage he could do by me having so many people out. not a big deal. I think we've got this in the bag. I'm gonna keep this taunt. I still have high health. Just gonna keep this in the back pocket and play. Notice this, the hero's frozen, still can do their attack. I don't know if that's the way I would particularly want it. I would think if they're frozen, they wouldn't be able to use their spell. Now they can't do an attack with an item when they're frozen. So I guess it's kind of balanced that way. I mean, you can't do an attack with an item, which makes sense, but you can still do the spell. Sometimes when they play that card split between enemies, it will just target the exact one you don't want it to target. It can be very frustrating. Pretty good card. Let's see. Probably should play this one instead. Just gonna get rid of this guy. Should I throw caution to the wind and summon? I think I do. I think I want to brace for the face here. Just try and do as much damage as fast as possible. She could easily have, I say she because the hero is female. That's the only reason. But they could have another do 4 damage to all of them. This is a great card to play when they have this Divine Shield on, because if it hits them the first time, it gets rid of the Divine Shield. If it hits them the second time, it starts doing damage. So the Divine Shield protected them that one time, but that was it. I could do 2 more damage and kill this creature. I could do 1 more damage and kill this creature. I'm not gonna do either. I'm just gonna keep them. Down to 12 over here, down to 28 over here. You notice that I was able to play a spell and they have a secret, so I know they don't have the counter spell secret. However, they just play the second secret, so maybe that is the counter spell secret that they just played. We'll find out. Counter spell always counters the first spell it plays, so you can force these things out. You don't have the option. In Yu-Gi-Oh, you have the option of triggering traps that you place down. They're like these secrets. In Hearthstone, you have no option. It automatically happens. So by being able to do that, I know for a fact it is not counter spell. Just kind of stalling here. I got a 777. I have this taunt I still need to get rid of. I'm not gonna kill them still. Stalling to see what cards I get. See if I can get this done. Still a lot of opportunity for me to lose. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. There really is. Lots of opportunity for me to lose. Alright. So, deal 6 damage. 2 secrets. Pretty risky. Could go after this guy, and I guess that's who I should go after. Duplicate gives them 2 cards of what he just summoned. At least we know what that card was. Sadly, it's not helpful. Just gonna do 1 more over here. Get rid of this guy. Just trying to get rid of the taunt creatures. We're in a bad place here. So I attacked the face, it didn't activate the secret. The only thing I could guess the secret is gonna be something that makes them immune at the death blow. So what I want to do if I get the opportunity is do like 10 damage to him, and then if I have another card that will do just 1, do the 10 first, then do the 1, and if that activates the secret that makes them immune, well then they'll be down to 1 and the immunity will go away the next turn. I can get them with the spell. I am in trouble. This 8 armor is going to help a little, but not a lot. I need the card that does 4 damage to everything, is what I need. Well, I can save myself 3 damage this way.
Job done.
Just another duplicate. You can't have 2 of the same secrets on at the same time. So that probably meant they had both duplicates at their hand at some point. They played 1 duplicate, and when I triggered it by killing one of his minions, he put the second duplicate on his reserve to use it again. There are some secrets where you'd seem like you could just have both, like mine that gives you 8 armor. Why can't you have both and get 16? But the card that would be my saving grace is the card that's going to do 4 damage to everybody. If I could do that twice, I would guarantee
Give me
a win. But it's just not going to happen. I mean, look, I can get rid of this guy, save myself too, but
Job done.
it does not look good for me at all. Nothing super useful with this character at this point. Could be useful if I was playing a different game, but nothing helpful here. You see, typically you want to take a second to just add up what the amount of damage they have is. But because if I had added and calculated what was my turn, I would have seen he's gonna win. He has that hero ability to do 1 more damage, and he has 10 gems. So what more than likely they're doing right now is they're running math in their head, or they're about to say good game or well played, and they're gonna use 2 mana crystals to just defeat me. They know for a fact that they're gonna win. Sometimes people will be nice and just leave you at 1 because they have quests that they want to do. Their quests to summon creatures, their quests to play spell cards. And so if they're just working on quests, they might leave you at 1 and try and work out their quests while playing you. And as long as you're willing to play along with that, you can work on your quests. I've certainly done that and been thanked by other players where I've just said, I'm gonna leave you alone and let you work on your quests, and I'm gonna work on my quests, and so I'm gonna get you down to 1 health, and then just let you play until you've drawn every single card in your deck, because I have such an advantage that I know I'm gonna win. And if he had done anything that started to indicate he might win, I would have beaten him right there. But no, he played along. And so we went maybe close to 60 turns because he had a lot of cards and I just let him draw them all. And then what finally killed him was that he drew on his empty deck, which did that 1 damage and beat him.
You apart.
Ice Lance isn't the best one you want at the very beginning. And this is the first turn, so I'm just gonna trade that too. I don't know if unlocking more cards and having more cards in your collection will let you do better in the arena, give you better options. I would think it does. I think Arena is supposed to be the great equalizer. I think everybody is supposed to be given the opportunity to play all the cards, just randomly selected and offered up. Certainly the Arena has offered me to use cards that were not in my collection. Just go ahead and get rid of this one in 2 turns. Not a great start. You almost never want to be the first player in this game. It's not very balanced at all. Lots of card games being the first with the right strategy is just as good as being the second. Hearthstone almost always being the second is preferable. So I could do a taunt or a charge. So I guess I'll do a taunt. Could also have used the spell and gotten rid of that one. Maybe that was the smarter move. It's hard to tell. I've played spells, so either I'm very close or I've already done the quest to play spells, because you can complete quests in the arena. The best way to do it would be get really lucky on the arena picks, be able to do all 3 of your quests that you've let stack up in one arena run, and then you can overlap progress from playing arena on top of doing a quest for a specific character's number of wins, on top of a quest that requires summoning so many minions or doing so much damage or playing so many spells. Also, you can get quests that say like win 2 wins with a druid, and then you'll get the same thing that says win 2 wins with the druid again, but it always says like druid or mage or druid or rogue. So when you see them line up like that, of course you want to play as the druid, win 2 wins, and save yourself a little bit of time. Well, that somehow worked itself out. Let's see. Whenever you play a card, gain 1/1. Let's stick it out there. Why not? I'm just gonna mirror image it. Well, I could attack him. I can't defeat him. Let's go ahead and do that.
Job's done.
So by attacking the face, we at least know that it wasn't a secret that destroys the first creature that attacks the face. That's what you want to know. You don't want secrets out there where you have your strongest, you have like a 7/7 creature, it attacks the face and then just dies. So if you have a 7/7 or 1/1, 1/1 goes first when attacking the face when there's a secret. Unlike Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think Magic too, I don't think it was in Pokemon, there were cards in your hand that you didn't have to like put on the field or declare in any real fashion, but you could still play them. So there were like traps where you just go, wait 1 second there as they're declaring to their attack, and you just turn this card around and show it to them, and it says, you can play this card from your hand and nullify an attack or something like that. Nothing like that in Hearthstone. If it's a secret, it has to be placed in the secret arc. If it's a monster, it has to be placed on the deck, and there's nothing about putting the face down so that the enemy can't see them or anything like that. Yu-Gi-Oh! You can put cards face down. They can be in the defensive position or in the attacking position. All kinds of rules in Yu-Gi-Oh! To make it a much crazier game in the sense of just more things could happen. In Hearthstone is certainly a simpler game, I would say. Alright, so how do I want to play this? Nothing I summon at the moment is going to be able to attack. The only way I could do damage is with the 6. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring out this guy, and then use my last 2 to damage this one. Keep it at the very least at 3 if they play another card. Need to get this guy off the field. Next turn is gonna get me to 7 mana crystals. I have this deal 4 damage to all enemies.
Drink with me, friend.
So if he plays another card, then
Shields up.
this will be up to 4. Still no problem. Like I said, this card, these panda cards, send them back to the hand. This one has a battle cry that gives taunt to the ones on either side. So that was pretty good strategy. Fortunately, they just didn't know I had this button. And that's what you want that card to do every time. Just devastate and get rid of all the enemies. So I've taken the upper hand. Taking the upper hand in a game is one of the more difficult things to do. And when you get the upper hand, you want to keep it. You want to keep the momentum. I have 2 cards here that synergize. So as long as I can summon this guy and attack him, that'd be great. But let's see. Every time you cast a spell, do 1 damage to everybody. Okay. Well, I don't know if I want to do this right now. Let's see. I think I want this guy out of the picture. I want this guy in the picture. I wish I had 4 more so I could go ahead and summon him in between. But since I don't, I'm going to go ahead and put a taunt right here as a defense. Now they have to attack this guy before they can go against these 2 guys. These 2 guys are going to be important because I'm going to play this guy in between them so they both get +1 spell damage. This guy's going to attack the face and freeze it if at all possible, which is going to do not 4 damage, it's going to do 6 damage. And then I'm going to play this to do 8 damage next turn, if I can get everything to work out right. Which hopefully it will. 4,
Give me a
8,
quest.
9. I will be at 9. That should take all my mana to do these shots. Not everything I just said is going to happen, but most of it.
Sometimes I forget things.
So now this is going to do 6. I could attack him, but I'm not going to. This guy's going to do 8. And that's what I want.
Job's done.
When they have a +1 spell, they're going to try and get rid of him fast. So that's all I could do. It's a shame I didn't have a couple more to bring this guy out. He could be helpful. +1 attack. Bring this guy about. I'm going to use all those next turn if I can. No point really in keeping him around until I get the next Ice Lance. But I'll just keep freezing him. I might actually just freeze this guy and get rid of him. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll do. They're in trouble. They got lots of opportunities, lots of cards still they could play. But you see they're slowing down, they're thinking things through because they know they're in trouble. If they don't have any more cards to play, then they'll be, well, they do. So I want this guy gone. I have 4. You notice here that it says still 8, even though there's a +1 to the spell being added. That's because this is not damage, this is actually just armor. I don't know of any way to get their armor to go up. So we hit him once like this. He's down to 3.
Where am I?
We hit him here, he's down to 1. And sheep, he transformed me into a sheep. It's useless. We hit him here, it's down to that. So we're gonna play this guy for sure. We're going to play this to the face. Let's see. Play this for sure. I could keep the freeze, but I'm just gonna play it. So that's less of my cards. Let's hope that was a good choice.
Your magic shall not save you.
Silencing him is a bit of a shame, but not terrible. I mean, he gave one attack, he just won't give any more. Down to
The
14.
light protects me.
I'm at 13, so still they have a advantage here. See, deal 4 to a character and freeze. I want to take advantage of that. Probably should have kept that frozen. It would be way better to freeze all these guys at the moment than it would have been than it was to freeze that one character. That was probably a mistake.
It's
Almost
time.
certainly. He's down to 6. If I can just survive to the next turn, I have a good
done.
chance of winning. But 5, 9, 13, 14. So in the next attack, they're going to try and do 14 damage. I do have the secret that's going to give me 8. So they need to do 21. They're showing 14 right now. If they can do 7 more
I am the
damage,
blade of the gods.
giving 4 more health, not something I'm a fan of right now. Because if I was going to win, it would have been in the next turn. Chances are looking slim. He's going to lose his stealth by attacking me. It's not going to change the game any, but I guess I could attack him. What I need is that card that does 4 damage to all the creatures. If I can pull that one out, then there might be a chance. Not a lot of chance. If this does 3 to the face, then if it had done 3 to the face, and then I would have had 4, then I would have had 5, still would have been at 4. So let's see, I have 8, and I've got to figure out a way to survive, and I don't think it's going to happen.
It's time.
Best I can do is get rid of this 4-1. It's not going to say 4, 9, 10, 14. I have 8 and nothing. There's literally nothing on in my hand, nothing. This is the scenario you want your opponents in. You want them nothing on their side, nothing as a secret, nothing in their hand. It's not the scenario you want them in. And then you get this madness where they just say, well played, after they beat you, and it's not true. I did not play well. One more game for this recording, and then I'm calling it a day, unless I win. If I win, we'll keep going, but you just saw I lost twice in a row, and I more than likely will lose 3 times in a row. This is how most of the arena runs are going to go for you at the very beginning. Even months and months in, like me, is how most of them are going to go. Notice the cancel button goes away. That's when you know it actually has found somebody and is starting to connect. You do get something. It's your best return playing the arena for 150 gold, though. You do get something for it. It's not great if you don't win, but you do get something. Counter spell and all this stuff. Gonna go second, which is where you want to be. You want the coin. You want 4 cards. It's unbalanced that way. I would think either you get 4 cards or you get the coin. You should not get both. You probably should get the coin and not get 4 cards. It's kind of interesting. It's called the coin in the sense that I think in the back of their heads they at some point want this to actually be a real card game that you could play in the real world, and so they try to keep things not too crazy, and so I assume they're thinking you will get a coin that you flip to choose who goes first, and whoever goes second gets that coin, and that equates to a mana crystal. But there is no real world Hearthstone. At the moment, I don't think there would be, it would be the easiest to have a real world Hearthstone because there are certain things, not a lot, but certain things that would require you to have 4 of these little ovals per card or 5 of these little ovals per card. So the cards would have to be come out square like this and then have like 4 ovals that slide in and lock into the card, and then when you summon it you put the ovals on the table or just do the cards themselves. Let's see.
What to do? What to
Deal
do?
1 damage to all minions when it dies. So this one's gonna die either way if it attacks. So I'm just gonna not attack. He has that ability to give +1 heart, so pretty good setup here. He can only do 1 damage. I can just sit here and do nothing for 2 turns. So he attacked, he took 3 damage for attacking, and it did 1 damage to me, which was just the same as the 1 damage I got up from the other minion on my side. And then when he died, he did 1 damage to everybody, so I'm down 1 damage now. And it killed my other minion. Not terrible, not great. See, freeze all any mini minions. Wasted that the last game. I think we could probably all agree on that. Totally wasted it. So I'm just gonna do this spell to get rid of this guy. And then I'm gonna just attack the face. If this guy attacks me, he's gonna die, I'm not. I could play this holding off. Oh, I didn't explain on Hearthstone, one of the things that's nice is if things are just taking too long, you can just play the clicky click game here and click on the dirt, kick up dirt. There are little things that react to your clicks, about 3 points on each corner that will react to your let's see. Play little sounds, do little reactions. You can close this up here and then spin the wheel a few times. Let's see, where's the wheel? There it is. You can sit here and spin the wheel a few times, build up pressure, and it will explode out. None of that has anything whatsoever to do with the actual game. It's just a matter of your opponent's taking too long and you don't want to wait, well that was kind of a waste, I bet. Yeah. You can sit here and just bang on this and it will eventually crack. Probably won't be doing any of that while I'm recording, because if there's time for me to play the clicky click game, then there's probably time for me to talk and explain something, or re-explain something, or re-explain something, which I probably will do, particularly in Hearthstone. I guess I'll just get quieter and quieter as each recording goes on, because I'll just know people know what the card does. But probably not, because I have the opportunity while playing to put my mouse over it and reread what it does. You don't. So if I don't stick my mouse over it long enough for you to read, you're just going to be stuck with whatever I'm telling you. Alright, so I think I want to do this. Freeze this guy. Use the Ice Lance to do 4 more damage. And then use this to do 1 more damage.
Job's
So,
done.
how many was that? Was that 7 or 8 damage? Now he has a 5-1. So it's pretty high attack, only 2 uses. Cannot use it while frozen.
Squire,
And I think if I have the opportunity, I'll bring out this guy and keep him frozen. But I don't, so there goes I. 1 more turn, I'll do 4 damage to everybody. See, I could do this guy or this guy. I think I want to do this guy.
Me and Mr. Fight.
Guy being a non-genderized term I'm using here, as that's certainly female. You may have noticed I'm trying to be more gender neutral in my speech. I think probably that's the way the world is going, and certainly wasn't the way when I was a kid, and probably isn't the way for little kids these days too. So much about, oh, that's a little boy, that's a little girl, but I can see the wave of change going, and we're gonna eventually probably get to the point where we don't say guy or girl or Mr. or Miss or any of that stuff at all. It will just become the height of being rude to refer to one's gender, which frankly is nobody else's business at all. I mean, nothing in your day-to-day reactions or working with people should change whether you're speaking or looking at a male or a female. And if it does, you should ask yourself why. That is the case. Had a job that was on the phone. One of the biggest traps you could step into is if you said ma'am or sir to somebody and it turned out they were the other gender. They were immediately offended always. So you did not want to try and address them in that fashion. Usually I got good about skipping over that at all. I would just go straight into the questions I had to ask and not address gender at all. Freeze all enemies? That sounds good. It did not freeze him. I thought it would have. So I'm at 14. Let's bring this guy out. And that's all I can do. Alright, so you have Death Spite here. It's going to deal 1 damage to all minions when it is used up the second time. So he's going to do an attack, and then it's going to do 1 damage to me and 1 damage to all these people. See, your weapon has +2 attack. When it is enraged. So, luckily his weapon's going to go away before this guy gets enraged. So I don't have to worry about that. So he's doing my work for me. He's going to freeze himself by attacking me in the hopes of killing me, which he did not succeed at. I'm going to, hopefully all my cards will work here. Almost all. Would have been nice if I could play this card on this turn, but I can't. I'm gonna play this card instead. His freezing is gonna go away in the next turn. So if I attack his face, will it go? It's hard to tell. I could protect myself a little bit and get rid of this guy.
I wonder.
But I'm not going to. I'm going to hit his face. We're getting close. As long as I can do that, 8 damage, which I won't be able to do because this guy's going to get killed. But we'll get close. 2 turns. If I can get lucky in the next 2 turns, I'll win. I have 14 health. There isn't a lot of combinations of cards that will do 14 health. Not a single card is going to do 14 health. Now he has the ability that gives him 2 armor, so maybe I can't beat him in 2 turns. Maybe I'm wrong about that. this is a battle cry, so the only way I could get him to do his give +1 spell damage to this guy, bring him back into my hand, play him again. So if I had a panda, that would be a good strategy for that. So that card went back to 6 damage because of that. But between everything, I've got him down to 1.
Job's done.
He can do 13 damage on the face of me right now. So I have 14. If he can find one more thing, he's won. Lots of things will do 1 damage. I've got to do at least 3. Maybe he's going to play conservatively. Maybe he's going to try and get rid of my characters to keep himself alive. Here's that creature. All other Murlocs have +2, +1. Great for a Murloc deck. He's shown his hand now. He has no more creatures that can protect him. He cannot win. He might just give up right now and concede, because he can see it. Lots of people will concede if you're not working on quest, if there's nothing more you can do. Save yourself your time, concede. You're gonna lose a lot in this game. It doesn't show your win-loss ratio to you, I don't think, anywhere. So at least you get to see 1 victory, and the coin glowed, and it's a little bit better now. You can go all the way up to 12 wins, then you get the highest level key, and at that point you just have to end your run. You can't get above 12. I think I saw somewhere around 6 or 7 wins is the guaranteed you'll get back your 150 and get other stuff. So
You asked for it.
if you could
My
always
magic
get 6
will
or 7
tear
wins,
you
that's what you
apart.
would want to do. But of course you want to get as many wins as possible, always. But higher level player people could play the arena, get 6 or 7 wins every time, and just play the arena again, and always be profiting from it. Okay, so one thing, not the best 1-mana creature to play, because her ability, more than likely the one time I get to use it, isn't going to activate. She cannot give herself +1 health. Only other creatures. This 2 is not going to synergize very well with this 1, even if it stayed alive, because making a 1 heart a taunt is not very helpful. This 2 is not going to synergize very well with anything else because I don't have a spell. So I think my best deal here is to play this.
Job's done.
I wanted to stick to 3 games per recording, except for an arena, but I kind of figured I would lose. So this recording is going to go a little bit longer, sorry about that. You just saw me here click away this flag. I don't like the flag because it's just kind of floats there and moves and gets in your way. A lot of other stuff doesn't matter. You can turn lights on and you can water the crops if I can hit them. And you can pop the crops so they go away. And 3 different types of crops will pop up. You can pick the flowers if you're really fast. You can try and get them all, but they come back really fast. I think you can break the... You hit the gong and like break the rocks or something. All garbage stuff has nothing to do with anything. 2 and 2 would do some damage.
What to do?
But I think I want to do 3.
Job's done.
Then hopefully that's the right play. Yeah, turn the light off. All kinds of garbage you can do if you get bored. Not saying I am bored, I'm just showing. You can hover over here, it tells you how many cards you have left, how many cards they have left, if you're going to try to win that way. Like I said before, Lots of trading card games, as soon as you run it out and are at 0, you lose the game no matter what. In Hearthstone, you just take 1 damage for every time you draw. You could play a deck that would make them draw and overdraw and just keep on drawing. There are cards that I'm sure in combination would do that, but
Just like you.
Job's done.
it's probably not the best strategy. Whereas in Yu-Gi-Oh, I had decks that would just have them run out of cards really fast, and I mean, you could get 3 really powerful cards together and they just would have to draw over and over again
Me and Mr. Fight.
Job's done.
in this cycle until they were out. Yu-Gi-Oh! The trading card game, of course, is the same as the cartoon. The cartoon was made to sell the trading card game. When it came over from Japan, the cartoon and the
What to do?
pretty much probably in
What
the
to do.
Japanese version too. The rules in the cartoon, not anywhere close to the rules in the card game. They made the card game sometimes after they told the animators, which would take a really long time to make an episode. So the animators would just wing it, or for story reasons, they would just make up rules and be like, aha, but I actually win because of this. And then they would have to go
Job's done.
cram that rule into the card game so that it was somewhat similar.
Dingo! Yeah.
Could play this guy in between these two guys and give this one taunt. You're not going to get double taunt on this one. You're just going to reinforce the fact that he has taunt. Alright, so I could do 4 damage. I could do 6 damage. Could do that. I think I'm gonna do 6 damage here. And let's see. I'm gonna just do this. Just do this. Don't want to waste the owl, don't want to waste this guy. I could have used the owl on the taunt creature there, so then they wouldn't have had taunt anymore. And I wouldn't have to attack them.
Glory to the Sindori!
What was that? All minions lose Divine Shield and gain 3+3 for each shield. This is one of the cards I was talking about earlier. If you could get 6 other creatures with Divine Shield up and then play him, 6 times 3, that's 18 plus 18. 21, 21. That would be a super powerful guy. Let's see. Well, that was a battle cry, so he can't do it again. I'm gonna silence him, so this one does not freeze people at attacks anymore. I am going to bring this guy out. I have 2 more. So I could do an attack. I could bring these guys out. I'm gonna just do an attack. I'm not even gonna worry about him. Just race for the face again. Try and do as much damage to the face. If this one attacks this guy, he's gonna die. If this one attacks, he's gonna take off half his life. Next turn, try to do the 4 damage to all of them, and probably
My
kill
shield
everything.
for Argus!
Alright. So, almost as if I planned it. So I could do another attack to the face for 1 damage, but I'm not going to. I'm going to instead beef up my defenses a little bit, play a little conservatively, attack here,
Job's
and call it
done.
a day. That was one of those taking the upper hand. Although I think I probably had the upper hand before that turn. But now he knows I have the upper hand. Because I just destroyed his creatures. I would prefer to have the guy that gives +2 spell attacks to each creature on either side than give taunts. Because at the moment, the best I can do is drag this in between here and give this guy taunt and reinforce this one already has taunt. Using mirror image, you usually want to have raid leader or another creature that gives a +1/+1 attacks. You want to give these guys the +1/+1 attacks so that they come out and then they can become offensive as well as defensive. In my current select deck I built, there's nothing I really have that's going to give them +1, so they'll never be able to attack. Notice here he's just stalling, he's just thinking. They say and
Time runs out on me.
all this stuff, time runs out. That's just automatic. That's not something that you can trigger. It's just your hero talking to you saying, you need to make a decision. Maybe this guy just threw down the controller and rage quit. Maybe he just threw it against the wall. Maybe he threw it into his expensive plasma TV. I mean, when you see they're not highlighting things, when all that's going on, they may have just left the game. They may have just quit. Totally.
Shields up.
So the only thing I could attack with here was the owl, but next turn, as long as they don't get killed, which would be hard for him to kill him because he could pull out do 4 damage to all the enemies and he would kill everything I have if he had that. But I'm thinking he rage quit. Let's watch up here, see if he highlights. Okay, there's a little movement there like he highlighted something.
Time runs out on me.
Notice here, when you let it go all the way and end the turn for you, very, very quickly, it's going to throw out that rope again and end it for you. So, if you just rage quit and you don't play anymore and don't touch the mouse, it's going to, as soon as you do that once, next turn the rope is immediately out. So, the other player just has to sit there and watch the rope. And I think that's what we've got here, is that he's just sitting here hoping that I'll get frustrated enough to
Quest accepted.
to concede just to save time, which you're never going to do that in the arena. You want your wins. I'm going to get 2 wins, which is a very rare occasion. I've only done it 2 or 3 times. Let's see, I could freeze the guy, but no real reason to.
Time runs out on me.
I guess there's a conversation or argument could be said. If you're gonna play an online game, well, then you're conceding the fact, at the very least, if not passively giving the permission, that your appearance on the other player's game is going to be made public. I mean, you should not ever assume that just because you're playing a one-on-one, that one-on-one is going to stay between those 2 people. There are certainly administrators who could look at your gameplay, what you say in chat logs, what you say over recordings, all that. Well, you're giving up any thought you might think you have to a right to privacy.
Quest accepted.
It's just not really there. So if somebody was ever to come back and say, hey, I'm this person you played and you said something that offended me, I'm sorry. I'm probably never going to say anything that you could sue me over. I'm just speculating about your gameplay. I'm not the type of person that's just going to insult them for no reason. Particularly in Hearthstone, because the only way they'd ever get back and hear to them is if they saw one of my recordings. But so you should keep that in mind when you're playing. Who knows? Maybe the person you're playing against is recording it, and it'll end up on the internet. Similar things have happened to me, not related
Jaina
to video
versus
games, where I've
Brawl.
ended up on the news, local news,
You asked
and
for
nobody
it.
came up to me and asked me my permission because I was in a public place, and they don't have to ask permission. When you're in a public place, you can be recorded at any time whatsoever. There's a general assumption when you're in a bathroom, you're not in a public place, but that's about it. When you're in your own house, you're not in a public place. But if you're out on public streets, if you're in a mall,
Greetings, friend.
if you're in a shop, all that is public. So expect there will always be cameras. There's always like security cameras in stores and such. Let's go ahead and send them a greeting
Hello.
just to be polite. And let's see. I could use the coin, but no reason to. I don't know how polite it is. You say greetings and then you bash their face and then win. Or they bash your face and then win. This guy, the shaman, has an interesting ability. He summons one of 4 random totems, but there can only be one of each totem. So once the snake is played, it's one of the 3 remaining random totems, and when all 4 are there, he can't use it
I
anymore.
wonder.
Use that ability. Let's see. Just use the spot those, and let's just keep this up and throw him out there too with the coin. There is a card that synergizes with the totem ability really well that will give +2 attack. Almost only one of the 4 totems actually has a attack of anything. The others are all 0, and the one that is 1 is 1/1. So pretty easy to defeat them and not really worry about them too much.
To arms.
Just go ahead and throw this guy out there. This could be terrible, but he is a shaman. He does not have access to mage cards, so he cannot have that spell card that does 4 damage to everybody. Don't have to worry about that particular card. There are other cards out there I'm sure he could play that does something similar. This card gives a +1 attack to all adjacent minions. It's not a battle card, so if he summons a totem, that totem will get a +1 attack. He summoned a wolf with taunt, he's getting a +1 attack. So, you gotta remember that. Let's see. How can we... Let's just play this up a little bit, not really think things through. Silence him, and that gets rid of the taunt, but does not get rid of the +1 because it's not his description that's doing that. It's his. So, let's see. I got a 3 here. I can attack here and not die. I can attack here and die, which is what I want, so I can get a 2/2. I can attack here and get rid of him. So I could attack here and do 1 damage, which will be useful in the future point, but at the moment I'm just gonna keep him as he is. Almost a full deck here of creatures. I'm gonna start losing guys this next turn. I don't know if there's a lot of synergy with other cards with the totems. The snake, which you see here, is just, it has taunt, it's a 0/2, that's all it does. There's one that is a healing totem that does +1 to all enemies. There's one that is a 1/1 that does nothing, but you can attack with it because it's a 1/1. There's one that gives +1 spell damage, which is kind of good. And I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's all of them as far as I can remember. There is a creature that works with the shaman's deck better, where he starts off like a 1/1, and then every time you play an overload card, he gets +1, +1, or +2, +2. What overload cards are, is it is going to be a very powerful card for a little bit of mana, but then it's going to have an overload. And so it will say 1 mana overload 2. And what that does is puts a little lock on your mana crystals for 2 of them. And your next turn, even though I would be a 6, I'd only be able to use 4 because the other 2 are locked out for that next turn only. And so, if you keep playing overload and overload and overload, you're always going to be a little bit behind the curve in the mana, which is fine as long as you just have a full overload deck, which don't take that much mana in the first turn, and you have that one creature that's getting stronger and stronger each time you do play an overload card. That's really the deck you would want to try and build for this guy. Let's go ahead and throw him and toss this out and see what it does. Ideally, you want it to kill at least one thing, and that would be the one thing I want it to kill. This is this +1 spell. Now that the wolf is gone, he has no attack. This guy has 2 attacks, so I just gotta get rid of him somehow, and I'll do it this way. So I could do 1 more damage to the face, but I'm just gonna save it and get rid of his last creature. Save it. Still keeping the ice thing. You don't want to use it now. It's just gonna freeze him. But when I get this guy out and attacking him and freezing him, it will do 5. Pretty good picking in cards, I will say. That is what helped me get to 2 victories already. If I get to 3, that will be a personal best, I think. I don't think I've ever gotten to 3 victories on the arena before. A lot of that's luck of the draw. I mean, it had very little to nothing to do with anything I did. So I killed this one. This one's a 3/3. I'm just gonna keep maintaining control. Get rid of him. Still 1 heart. He can't do 1 damage with his spell, so he should still be around this ogre magi next turn. So everything should work next turn. Look at that, I used all my mana crystals. I love it when I do that. I want to be efficient. Next turn I should be able to attack and freeze. I'll still have this guy on the turn, so he does 5 instead of 4 on the Ice Lance. This was the guy I was talking about, that every time you play an overload, he gets 1 more. Starts off as a 2/4, gets +1/+1 every overload. This guy has an overload of 2. So he's going to do 5 damage to this guy, and overload himself to not probably the smartest one to attack. He probably should have used that on my face.
Give me a quest.
So this guy is going to attack this guy. Now I could attack this guy and freeze him, but no, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind, attack this guy, use the Ice Lance to do the 4 damage now. I lost 1 damage, he killed my Ogre Magi. I didn't want that to happen. A little bit of a problem fighting this guy here is if I do just 1 damage, this guy's going to return 1 damage to all friendly minions at the end of every turn. So I got to get rid of him, or I've got to start doing damage there. Let's see. What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to risk it. We're just going to face brace here. Hopefully he won't pay attention and just attack my face and not realize that I'm getting to get him down faster than he's getting me down. All I need is 8 more damage. There's 6, 7, 8 here. So if he decides, because he's not paying attention, just to attack my face with the 1 card he can attack at the moment, then I've won. If he figures it out and goes and attacks this guy, well, then it'll go another turn. Probably. Maybe he'll just concede. He's taking his time, he's doing the math, he's thinking things.
You call that
Give a minion +2 this turn. Don't like cards that end this turn. It's kind of a waste. Still a lot of opportunity for me to win, I say. I'm at 28. It's going to take him at least a couple turns to get me down to 0. And he's recognizing that, and maybe he'll just surrender. He could have done better if he'd gotten the snake, and that's probably what he wanted. But deal 3 damage and freezes. So 3, 6, 7, 8. Just gonna face race and do all of it there. Wonder if that term annoys people, face race.
Job's done.
So he's down to 1. And he's frozen. And if he gets the snake, I'll just kill it with this guy.
Played.
And then attack him with this. Or kill him, whatever you've got, and attack him with this. I don't even... I do have to attack things with taunt. Still with the spell. So I cannot use the spell and bypass the snake and just do that. So I still have to get rid of it. Look at this. This is a perfect scenario. Might as well throw her out. He's full of creatures. In all logic, he should be winning. But he isn't winning because I played better. It's not just about having creatures. So, as I said, could have used the spell, could have used the spider. Either one of them would have gotten the job done. Just like that, I have won 3 things. New personal best, nicer looking key. Let's just keep on going. I seriously doubt I'm gonna win one more. I tell you what, the recording's been going on long. If I happen, for some reason, to win, I will name this episode Arena Part 1, and then next episode will be Arena Part 2, and then I'll probably lose in Part 2 after the first game, and just do like a regular ranked game. But who knows, maybe I'll just keep on winning. I've gotten super lucky here. Really, really lucky. I don't even want to keep this one. It's so important on the first turn to have a good card that you can actually play on that first turn. But yeah, if I keep on winning, I guess this could be part 2, part 3, part 4. We could go all the way to 12. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. But looking at this draw, I don't have faith in that. I mean, I was just saying, it's so important to have a card you can play on the first turn. Cannot play any cards at all that I drew. Fortunately, this guy came up. That's why you want those ones. You want to get lucky on your first draw and get something you can play. Can't play anything on the third turn at the moment. Second turn I can use the spell. Third turn can't do anything. But I do have 2 turns between then, so I'll probably have the option. So I changed the card back. I guess I really didn't explain that. You don't actually get the opportunity to see your own card back. You see their card back that they choose to use. So all the people I've been playing, they've been seeing the card back, but you don't get the opportunity. It's a little weird. Here's a creature that cannot be targeted by spells or hero power. So this, when we show you, no target. Can target my guy, can target him. Cannot target my, that. But since this is randomly split, you're not targeting anybody. So all I have to do is get lucky and have it randomly choose the creature twice. It didn't choose that, but that's fine, because if this one wants to attack, it's gonna die in the process.
Job's done.
Still nothing I can play on the third turn. I can use this on the third turn and just have an extra mana crystal, which is fine. You could use your hero spell once per turn. Always. I don't think that rule ever changes. in Nextramus, some
Job's
of the
done.
heroes that you're fighting have ridiculous spells. In fact, Nextramus in particular is just a pre-programmed fight where he is cheating straight up. You know he knows specific cards he's gonna have on specific turns. Um, like on the 7th turn, he always plays a card that destroys all secrets, I think, and gets rid of all creatures, and just
We
evens the
must
playing
cleanse
field.
the sun
His
well.
attack, after a certain point, changes to a different spell, hero spell. It's just the craziest thing you can think of. And it's probably the reason why you don't get the opportunity ever to play as Nextramus as being your hero. You just don't get that opportunity, let's see. Let's go ahead and do 1 damage here, and do 1 damage here. Little strategy there. I would have hoped or liked in the expansion Nextramus that they had given you at least 3 new heroes you could have picked. But I don't know what those archetypes would have been. I mean, this hero is a mage, so you could have like made a wizard and had a slightly different spell, but not by much. It would have been just about the same. There's already a healer hero that does health, so one does damage, one does health. And then they would have had to rethink the balance, and I guess they just didn't want to rethink the balance.
What to do? What to do?
Throw this guy out, because I can't use any of these to do anything but attack the face. And a little defensive here, just get rid of this one since it's a 4, and leave myself at the advantage for the moment. Throat's starting to get a little rough. It's probably time to call it a day for recording. I'll wrap up this recording. Hopefully we'll either win here. I still want to win even if it makes the recording go long. If I have to put out a 6-hour recording just because I'm winning, that is still way better than saying, oh, I'll just lose the game on purpose and give you lesser quality video. Never gonna make that option. Even if some like emergency came up and I had to leave my house that instant, I would just say, alright guys, some emergencies just come up. I'm leaving right now. This is the end of the episode. Hit stop and go deal with the emergency. She played a spell on me, or this guy played a spell on me. Got it wrong that time as far as genders, and every time this creature attacks now, she's gonna draw another card. That's a situation where I could sit there and attack and make him run out of cards if I thought he had bad cards. He only has 20 left, but we're gonna wait. Could have played this and done 3 damage, but he's already frozen, and it's just 3. There's no spell cards here at the moment. Let's see. So deal 6 damage. Let's go ahead and do that. This guy, his Valkyrie just brings up a 1/2 slime taunt, which is kind of a pain, but not a big problem. Just try and maximize the damage I'm doing. He's got another card for that. Let's go ahead and play this one. Since there are no enemies, gonna hit the face 3 times. And then I've got 2 more mana for 1 more face. So he's down to 16, I'm down to 19. I've got the advantage, I'm keeping him frozen. His attack returns 2 health every time he attacks. It does 4 damage. As long as he's frozen, he can't use it. So there's a stronger version of the cards I've been using that does 3 random damage. That one does I believe 7 random damage. Let's see what it says. Deal 6 damage randomly split amongst it. So it starts off as 6. And then same things. One of these guys would increase the amount of damage. Let's see. This guy's gonna attack, keep him frozen, give him another card, we don't care. We do not care. He's down to 16 in like 2 turns because of that. He's gonna run out. This comparison, I have 18 or 19 cards. He has 16. We started both at 30. You have to start at 30. Some card games, you can have more than 30. Some games you can't.
I
So
wonder.
I could get 7, 1 more damage there. And I guess that's what I want to do. Just go ahead and play that card
Job's done.
and not do the spell. I could have done this and froze him again, and this and done 1 damage. But that would have done only 5 damage versus 7. If this guy somehow gets eliminated, he's down to like 1 health. Still have this card to freeze him. He's very easily going to win this game, and keep him frozen so he never even gets to use this last use. What does this guy do? Restore 3 health. Not gonna help him much. What does this guy do? Restore 2 health. Alright, so he's making progress. He's doing the right things. The question is it just enough? Let's see. 11. Draw another card. This, draw another card. So how many does he have? Does that say 4? Let's go ahead and do this. See if that was 4. That was 4. Wow, so topping my personal best. I want you to remember this moment. Here we go, we're going to 4 wins. My personal best was from just a few minutes ago where I had 3 wins. Now I'm at 4 wins. This has turned out to be a very lucky pick. Good selection. There was skill in me picking those cards. All that time I took to pick cards paid off. Not going to go any further in this episode. It's gone long enough. So that was part 1. You saw me win 4 times in Hearthstone. I want you to remember that when you see me lose many, many times in Isaac, if you're watching me play Isaac too. But anyways, that's the end of part 1. I am the champion. I am awesome. Don't you forget it. I can already see what I'm going to be apologizing for in the next episode. Probably won't record the next episode in the same day as this one. I don't know if you really care or not about me talking about when I record or whatever. But this is probably it for me for today. At the very least, I've got to take a little bit of a break and rest my voice a little bit. Thanks for watching and have a good day.